Get ready! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, today was the AT&T investor call, and guess what? I was right. Unfortunately, the Snyder Cut did not get the attention that it so aptly deserved, and we're going to be talking about that right now. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Matt Jarbo here, 3 Buck Theater. Still in bed, still have a broken back, still on drugs. But the kind that were legally prescribed, by the way. And I'm joined today by my good friend, Max.
Is the Snyderverse like your back? Restore the Snyderverse?
Yeah, I have a compressed fracture in my spine. I guess you could say like it's not the same, but kind of the same. I don't know. But it's been kind of a big day, Max. It's been kind of a very interesting day.
So you told me you have good news for me. This is what you told me to get me on the stream. So what's the good news?
I didn't tell you I had good news.
Oh.
I didn't say I had good news. I said I had hot takes.
Okay, an unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion hot takes. Which I'm going to be called the cynical. I like to present myself as a cynical realist at times because I feel like there's a lot of copium that's going around right now. I feel like a lot,
including from me.
No, I think you sometimes I feel like you get a little bit high on copium. But
I still think it's possible.
Okay, we also got RJ here coming on in.
Oh, hey, RJ.
It's done. It's over.
Oh, come on!
Get off the copium. Get off the copium, man.
Oh, get the hell out of here!
It's over.
No, what the hell, RJ? It's not over till.
Man, the fact that you saw CNBC literally put as their main headline, Zack Snyder's Justice League did little to boost HBO Max numbers. I mean, come on.
I told Matt Jarbo I was going to at least drop a little bit of heat. I think that our biggest mistake as a movement was signing up with the goodwill of the announcement of the Snyder Cut right away to HBO Max. If we would have all came in and subbed right before. Because we all pretty much were subbed to the subscription service way before.
No. To quote my one of my favorite games, Fallout New Vegas, the game was rigged from the start.
Well, I mean, we had tremendous goodwill since it was announced, so we all went right to HBO Max right away. If we would have all came in right before it was released, it would have been a lot better.
I agree with you about the numbers on that, and the numbers are something that you can kind of see now why they haven't said anything. Because as I've said, like the numbers matter, and a lot of people out there have been trying to I see these graphs floating around. They're all based on estimates, they're all based on estimates.
Do you have charts and graphs to show us?
I don't have charts. I'm on my phone still, so no, I don't have charts and graphs.
Oh, so unprepared.
There's one that's floating around right now that's says it got 31 million views based upon all the different metrics, and I'm inclined to believe that. I am inclined to believe that, but a lot of it had to do with we're talking HBO Max specifically in the United States. The movie did well overseas, especially through PVOD.
And that's the problem, that it doesn't. The overseas numbers don't count towards HBO Max, and that's what they cared about.
Yeah, and then Underhaven here makes a great point. She says Wonder Woman 84 got the credit for subscribers who signed up for the Snyder Cut, which I actually agree with.
Yeah.
I think
we all signed. That's when I signed up.
Same here.
I've been signed up since last May, and because they were on Roku for 6 months, I think I watched it twice. I was just putting my money in to support the Snyder Cut, and that's why I was doing it. And now that it's out, now that it's seen it, and now that it's going to be on home video next month, I have been asking if I want to cancel my.
Wait till you see Mortal Kombat.
Well, I'm going to watch Mortal Kombat tomorrow, or maybe tonight. It all depends. You got we got the series finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier, or the season finale of it, and then we've got Mortal Kombat at the same time. You guys suck, man. It's gonna, my God.
Well, me and Matt were talking on the phone, RJ, before. Someone needs to break ranks and do Thursday or Wednesday night premiere for Thursday, and they'd get better numbers because everyone waits till Friday, and it's obnoxious.
Yeah. Well, I don't
know. Disney Plus claimed Friday first. To be fair, I mean, it's just movie dates and all that. I'm just saying.
Well, most movies traditionally release on Fridays, so that is why.
Well, that's also going to hurt the movie business when it comes back. if everything premieres on Friday.
I think you'll see them shift their release date plans once movies are come back. So.
I'm a guest on the stream.
Phoenix Night Flame here says Invincible on Amazon Prime. Yeah, that's also going to be. I haven't watched that yet. I need to. But like the thing is like looking over the numbers that they dropped today, and the fact that the Snyder Cut only got one kind of fleeting mention when talking about the 2.7 million new subscribers. Although like I don't want to like claim I understand all of the numbers because I don't understand all of the numbers, but from my understanding, it's HBO Max and it's HBO that gained that 2.7, and this is actually the biggest problem that HBO has. Why there's so much confusion, because HBO still has like worldwide like 69 million subscribers or something like that, and that is revenue. But the fact that HBO Max is not worldwide yet, the fact that the Snyder Cut came out before it was worldwide, when I'm pretty certain that AT&T and Warner Media knew that it was a worldwide success, that it was a worldwide thing. I think they limited the movie on purpose, and I've been saying that for a while. That I feel like they didn't promote the movie well enough.
Like I said, the game was rigged from the start.
Yeah. Oh, shut the hell up, Andrew. Marvel shill should have known. What? Jesus Christ, dude. Look, talking about.
Well, no. I am Marvel shill. Everyone knows that's at this point. So
you hate shills, but don't you shill for like Toby to be in Spider-Man No Way Home? Like that's pretty shilly, dude. You know, pretty shilly.
I still think there's a chance, and my speculation for all my movie talk over the years I've been on YouTube has always been things that trend and fear of missing out from studios and sniping talent. He's just a hot commodity right now, Zack Snyder, and he's sought after, I think. Especially after Army of the Dead. I
think Netflix is where he's going to be. And like from Justice Con with him talking about Netflix and the experience from that, you could tell it was a much better experience. And you could tell that he was much happier having more creative control. I mean, look, he didn't take any money to do the Snyder Cut, right? He didn't take any payment. He did it all in order just to see it done, to complete it. I started thinking about it today as I was going to the store, and that had a lot to do with the fact that Zack's been working on the DCEU at this point for 10 years. For 10 years to put out 3 films and to go through all the shit that he wants to go through. And I think just as a fan of Zack's since 2004's Dawn of the Dead, as a fan of his work, I think it's time that we as a fandom let him go and do other things. And
I'm excited for him to do other things.
But a lot of people there aren't. They just want, when they want the Snyderverse, they'll tell you like, oh, I just want the characters to continue. But a lot of it is Zack.
Can I propose a question here? Everyone's like, even geekosity.com is saying maybe Marvel will snatch him or Star. What if he comes up with his original superhero story on his own and then he owns it?
And that would be something Netflix would do. Actually, no. No, Lewis and Mashwa. It's not since 2013. That's when the movie came out. He joined it in 2011. He started working on this in 2011.
Yeah. It was all he had that close relationship with Nolan.
Yeah. I talked about that in the Podio commentary of Man of Steel. A movie doesn't just come out, like doesn't get made and shot and released within 6 months. Like it takes years to get these things off the ground because of how complex they are. And that also ties into the concept of Justice League 2, Justice League 3, and finishing out those stories, because that again is the reality of where the studio system is, like how much money it costs to make these projects and how much money it brings in. Clearly, Warner Media has approached this as being a one and done. Clearly, they're standing true to that at this point in time, which is unfortunate. And I think a lot of people they're having trouble accepting the reality of the situation. And as I said in my video yesterday, and I caught some flack for it in the comment section, I said Zack will not tell you it's over, because Zack has said he will never say no to a consumer. Right? So if he doesn't say that, if he outright tells you that, he'll never tell you that something is dead, because again, you never really know, but you can sit there and look at look at the silence from the company to get a good idea of what's going on. Then it's just, you're never going to get a straight answer out of him, and you're never going to get a straight answer out of Warner Brothers, because why? If they tell you it's dead, then people are going to unsubscribe and they want to get subscribers. They need it for their stock portfolio. So
well, look what he did after. Just for an example, look what he did after. He didn't know Snyder Cut was going to 100% come out when he started working on Army of the Dead. He did an original IP that's an homage to others.
Yeah, which also has been in development since 2009.
Okay.
So,
I mean that might be his. We might be blown away by Army of the Dead and want him to come up with more original stuff where he owns and he gets more money. I think he could. If he developed his own superhero franchise too. You know,
I mean, to be fair, Sucker Punch, its 10-year anniversary, kind of came and went. You know, a few weeks ago, and no one gave it any fanfare. Right? There wasn't any Snyder Cut fandom. Let's do a Sucker Punch watch party on HBO Max sort of thing. You know, because like originally, and that movie got screwed with quite a bit, and I would love to see him go back and kind of put everything back together, which I think is something that he wants to do. But at the same time, the best thing for a creative entity is to always be moving forward. And I think that, pushing for release of Snyder Cut, we got it. That it's here, it's amazing, people love it. But now comes the fallout from it. And that is why, like today, I was really waiting for this to happen. Because I was hoping they were going to announce the numbers. I was really hoping that they were going to say something. But the cynical realist in me is all like, probably not, because I haven't said anything so far. And that's just kind of how I'm viewing it.
I still think there could be talks behind the scenes. There could be talks when he's trending, when the Netflix Army of the Dead's going to come out. I think they're at least talk about it. I think there's a big hurdle to get there, though.
Maybe, but like I said, 2.7 million subscribers gained in Q1. That's a little pitiful in my opinion. That's not HBO Max, it's HBO as well. Like, I don't know what they need to do to get people interested in the service, but whatever's going on right now, it's the most
expensive outside. I mean, like Netflix offers tiers, right? Like I recently dropped from the 4K UHD down to just 1080p, and I'm fine with that, right? So
they are introducing the ad tier in June,
and they are going to be expanding into Latin America and Europe later on this year. And I feel like kind of, let's see here. AT&T acknowledged the Snyder Cut success on their showcase graph chart. So no, Jarbo, they didn't really ignore the film. Yeah, I mean, showing one little thing, that's pretty much
showing a poster in the corner really isn't acknowledging though.
That's kind of not acknowledging. I mean, thank you for the super chat, but that's still pretty much ignoring it.
Thank you, TTC Sniping. I appreciate the support. We gotta combat these haters here. There is hope. Yes, thank 50-50. I agree.
I don't think. Look, I want it to happen. I have to always reiterate that point. But I always have to also be that other side of the coin, because I think people out there. I think that a lot of people are just going to keep pushing. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Why not? I think, you know what? After last night, I'm like, I understand. If someone's going to keep trying, I support them, because, I mean, what's the alternative? Just give up and.
No, the alternative. But the thing is, though, at this point, my honest recommendation would be, if they're not going to continue with what he's established, then just burn it all down and start again, because there's no point in a fragmented universe. There's no point in fragmenting the audience, because what happens with that is it only causes confusion, it causes division, and then it causes people to lose interest because they're frustrated. And that's what's going to happen.
Take out the big problems of them hijacking his film and stuff, and just remove that, and just focus on creators actually getting to fulfill their arc of what they sign on for. It's very rare that any director does. Besides all the BS that Warner Brothers did to Zack and on the set in the movie, what we got is more substantial than you get in most franchises that aren't directly owned by like when before George Lucas sold to Disney. You don't get this much. One of the last ones is James Cameron with Avatar. He's going to get to fulfill his vision, hopefully, if it succeeds. Avatar 2 succeeds. But this is par for the course with franchises in the entertainment industry, really. If you remove all the BS that happened to Zack, it's very rare that they get to the director keeps continuing on his films. Maybe, Peter Jackson, but that was a trilogy. It's very rare to begin with.
Well, that was also, I think, just I don't know the deals of the deal. I don't know the details of whatever deal Jackson had with New Line and Tolkien and everything. But I mean, I get it. A lot of the problem here is Warner Media. And another thing that I've seen is there's people out there today that I literally retweeted somebody who was all like, hey, Warner Brothers, Warner Media, suck my dick, and then people were liking it and haha, right? So you get all these people. And so it's how can you sit there and say that you support this whole thing, but it's you're still attacking the people involved and attacking the parent company. And it's not everybody. It's not everybody. And I'm not calling it a cult because I think that's ridiculous. But there are people out there that are, again, I get they're frustrated and I get that they're angry because they want something more. But it makes me at this point then go, are you appreciative of what you got? Because what you got was something significant. What you got was something that it was amazing. And it's this is what the fight was for. So now the constant pushing for more, it's the Warner's does not want to continuously deal with this. They don't want to.
I mean, my thing is the reason why I still hold out hope a little bit is because I keep thinking it's man, there's money on the table that they could really need. Especially okay, I just keep going back to that number. They only grew 2.7 million subs, which is not great. Again, their service is going through hell right now. I don't know what's going to take to get people to subscribe. I think maybe we're witnessing the oversaturation of the market in a way with streaming services. That could be a problem too.
And that's been a topic of conversation about this entire situation, which has been Netflix actually was short by 2 million estimated subscribers in Q1, and it actually hurt their stock by a little bit, but they still went up 4 million. You're right. And HBO Max did not go up 4 million. But I mean, the problem though is that look at the way HBO is spread around. You've got HBO, you've got HBO. I think HBO now became HBO Max. They merged it in. I think they got rid of HBO Go, but the HBO under the old guard had multiple tiers, multiple ways of accessing the content. And that is, I know they're trying to fold a lot of it into HBO Max. They should just pull the trigger and fold it all into HBO Max. When they get the approval. And that even probably means killing parts of HBO, turning HBO into HBO Max. See, but the other issue with that too is kind of like the porn industry. Now I know I'm making a comparison here, but there's
a surprise you made this comparison.
Unsurprising, but there's a lot of business in that industry that people don't ever think about, and that is hotels. A lot of what HBO, and that's actually been losing that too, by the way. So the reason why I say hotels is because HBO Max is a streaming service, not a channel, right? So it's when you go to a hotel and you want to watch something or you want to access the internet, how many times do they charge you $15-$20 to access the internet? And a lot of people who are there by themselves, they just want to use their internet to access Pornhub and then do their thing. But because they charge so much, people turn to the pay-per-view. And the pay-per-view is where they make a lot of money on the side. It's a revenue stream. The same thing goes for HBO. HBO has a lot of deals with these hotel chains that pump in HBO to their TVs. But they did say in that article that they lost 308,000 of those subscriptions in the last year, probably because so many hotels had to cut corners because of the pandemic. And the thing is, though, it's those markets are kind of dying. Streaming is getting bigger, and they need to start really consolidating and folding it all into one service. But because they are so spread around, it's only going to be harder to see them because you're going to have, it's going to have harder market penetration because the messaging is always going to be, well, wait, I have HBO. Why do I need HBO Max? You know what I mean?
Well, I'm sharing something to you. My man Sil says it's not over, and he's my source. And I love Still Abdul. Restore the Snyderverse. Yes, Snyder Cut acknowledged at the. So I say $3 theater here, or whatever the hell we're on. I can't remember. I don't even know what channel I'm on.
No, we're on $3 theater.
Okay. It's fake news. Don't believe it. Don't believe RJ and Matt. It's gonna happen. We can't give up.
I'm not giving up. I'm just,
I'm being
it's like
he's a hot commodity now,
I'm
Zack
being-
Snyder. So that helps.
for
That helps a
Netflix.
lot.
For Netflix, yes.
They
He's a
don't-
hot commodity.
just imagine, right? You're Zack Snyder. You've been at this for 10 years. In the process, you've been smeared, you've been slandered, you've been taken for granted, you've been constantly criticized for studio interference. You've taken literally everything on the chin and kept on smiling. Your daughter died, and that caused a big rift in the plans because you had to go take care of your family because family comes first. All of these things, and then he gets that therapeutic send off of this is where it's at. And the thing is, like I said, I don't think that the fandom will let him go. I don't think it at this point. I just simply don't.
If it doesn't happen, I can accept it. I mean, it'll be hard. I'll accept it, but I still think there's a path forward. There's a lot going on, and it's part of it is just the entertainment industry doesn't want talent to go somewhere else and be successful. And then it's what's trending. He's constantly trending right now. That is a plus for him and whatever he wants to do.
I think that is a metric that someone like Grace Randolph tells you is real. All right. Like it works sometimes. It doesn't work every time. Okay. Like he's trending on
Can't
Twitter.
deny the free press that comes off of this guy.
But here's the thing though. How many normies are reading about it? How many
it went past the bubble of the Snyder Cut. He's more now known now than he ever was.
True, but again, that's still like that's going to only work to Netflix's advantage. I don't know.
Listen, he might never get to do Justice League 2, and this whole experience and everything might make him better. Even the bad things in life make you better. We might get better product, but it might not be associated with DC at all. But I still think there's a strong chance just because of the name Zack Snyder, all the stuff that comes with it when he's associated with your business. I know certain people at WB do not want it, and that's where I go with my speculation. And yes, hashtags and all that does matter. When you get trending, whenever you announce anything with Zack Snyder, if it trends, that is a plus.
But you do know that the trends you see on Twitter are curated for you.
Yeah, you did tell me that. Yes.
So
it depends. You can change the settings though.
You can change the settings. But the curation and I'm not saying that it hasn't trended in a larger format, but a lot of times what you see is curated for you, but they don't fully explain that. So it ends up being kind of this thing like, oh, it's trending, but it might be trending in your.
There's no one more relevant now since the pandemic than Zack Snyder in the industry. There's no one more
relevant right now.
There's no one that's more relevant right now for the next project than Zack Snyder since the pandemic, since the announcement of the Snyder Cut. Even if people didn't watch it, everyone knows about this story now.
I mean, I would still argue that Kevin Feige is the most relevant because he's consistently.
Well, he's in charge of a whole universe, though. I mean, it will directly make a film.
Was asking for? They call it the Snyderverse for a reason. They want Zack in charge. They want Zack to be Kathleen Kennedy. They want Zack to take over for Walter Hamada. That's what people are asking for, but they don't understand what it means. They don't understand that what they want is for Zack to be more like a Jon Favreau and not a Kathy Kennedy. That's the difference here, is that it's like what they're asking for. I think there's passion, which is amazing, but there is so much of a lack of understanding and knowledge about what goes into actually making these projects that I just see on like a day-to-day basis. And a lot of it is just very wishful thinking, but you get people out there, and I'm just going to say it, like the Cultured Nerd and Lightcast, who consistently put out these false narratives. They get people.
They like to twist the information.
Well, I mean, the videos still get views, and that's something. I mean, there is a reason that all these sites.
That logic, Doomcock is always right.
No. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm saying that these stories about potential projects and everything still get the most views on the movie topics right now, and that's outside the Snyderverse bubble.
Well, that's also in the algorithm that you and I are a part of.
Yeah, but are the sites part of the algorithm? You go to the sites, what's on the top of every site, /film, everything.
They do. Because what else is going on right now?
Right.
So it's like this is the thing. So Amanda Martin here says nobody is asking for Zack to take over DC. Just finish his last two movies. No. What do you think is going to happen once they finish the last two movies? What's next? What's next? What's
Give
next?
a mouse a cookie?
You know.
Hey, it's a great book.
So no, Hector says here, we're not restoring the Snyderverse means putting the scrap projects back on the table. No, that doesn't mean that at all. You may want, like, you want Zack to be an overseer.
Zeno says I'm abusing my copium.
Yeah.
No, I just go with what's relevant. He's extremely relevant. That means something in the entertainment industry. Other people, it's not like he's just waiting for I mean, he might be waiting for W.
Well, you know what? I'm curious.
But other people are calling him for projects. I'm sure of it.
Let me ask you this, Max. Why do you think that HBO Max only grew 2.7 million subscribers? Why was that number so
Because
low?
we made a mistake. We should have organized and say, wait to subscribe until right before the Snyder Cut. Because all of us were so happy we are going to get it. We subscribed right away, and it didn't move the needle as much as it would have if we would have waited. I did the same mistake. I'm like, man, if I would have waited, and I was excited about Wonder Woman 84. That got all the buzz from it.
Or maybe it's also something that we need to reach more out to normal people or something too. Like, hey, like, you know, subscribe to this service, this and that. I don't know what the answer is. I'm just going back to that number because again, it's so much lower than it should have been.
With the people flying the banners over I think LA and driving the truck around AT&T's Dallas headquarters.
Good for them.
That move was not designed for the executives at the company. Right. It wasn't. It was designed to get buzz. It was designed to get people to look up, oh, what is Restore the Snyderverse?
That's what I don't understand how I'm trying to be the other side of the argument here, Matt, but I don't understand how you don't see how that important that is to the industry. If it's not constantly talked about, relevant, nothing moves forward, things get stagnant, it drops. There's always talk about it, even if you don't agree with all the rumors and stuff. It's constantly in the conversation.
I'm just saying, like, I go back to
when the views start dropping off on these videos, then
Yeah.
I would say that you got a problem. If you don't hear anything and then there's no and not hearing anything is actually, in my opinion, a good thing. That means that there could be negotiations. He's not just sitting there waiting for WB. He's sitting there getting calls from every streaming service wanting him to do a project, not just Netflix, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I just go back to that number because, again, it baffles me because people say, well, they didn't market it. No, they were pushing HBO Max, and they promoted the Snyder Cut on TV. I watch a lot of wrestling. I watch a lot of reruns of Impractical Jokers and Family Guy on TV. There was constant TV ads on HBO Max promoting
Is that on
Snyder Cut.
CBS? Which I think is a Warner-owned property.
Oh, yeah. On the Warner networks, they were promoting it like crazy.
I mean, no, I get it. They're trying to get wrestling fans to come on in and check this thing out. They're trying. I get the target audience, especially with Black Adam. They're going to be doing a lot of marketing with like the WWE and whatnot. The thing is, though, it's like, does that translate to sales?
No, don't worry, Enosh. I'm representing here. I'm representing.
And again, I'm not trying to hate. I go back to that number. That number was
even
so
okay.
low.
I know a lot of the videos are BS. I know there's a lot of news articles that aren't complete. They're very overly optimistic and there's little there. But the thing is, it's constantly relevant when you talk about the Flash started filming. How many Flash articles do you see? One or two. But then they keep talking about the Snyder Cut. They keep talking about potential projects, and that gets a lot of engagement. Engagement is important to these executives.
Here's the thing,
even though WB doesn't want to work with Zack, you can't deny the free press, the engagement, and the trending options. And that's beyond just my personal Twitter.
Right.
That's all over. It's every website.
Here's the thing too, Max. Like, okay, so we have 2.7 million. That's bundled in with HBO, the cable network. It's not just HBO Max that they're counting. They're not being very transparent with those numbers. Why is it that millions of people still haven't activated their HBO Max yet? There's millions of customers who have DirecTV or phone plans. They still have not activated it. Like, there's money still on the table that they're not getting, you know? Like, that's what I'm coming back to. It's like, why are the numbers so low? They should have been much higher than they were.
I think we need a tag team. Hey, Enosh, can you jump in here? We need a tag team.
But Matt, you get what I'm saying,
especially
right?
when his back's broken. We can
like
tag
2.7 million for this quarter is pitiful. It's pitiful.
Well, they had 8 million from quarter 4, right, of 2020. So people joined up to watch Wonder Woman 84. I believe 2/3 of those remained, but I think people also signed up knowing for the Snyder Cut, and that's just something that kept over. I mean, what we're looking at here is a situation where you've got a multitude of very hard to follow pieces of intel, and then that's also pushed by people who are very passionate about it. And I think that's why I'm saying, like, I will be the cynical realist, because it's not that I don't want to see this thing go forward, but what it ultimately boils down to is that Warner Brothers doesn't want it to. And that's the thing. When you have people that are tweeting at them, "Hey, suck my dick," it's like that's going to go the wrong way. It's going to.
Well, how many people are actually realistically going to see that tweet though?
That was right.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
they use it for ammo to dismiss us. The idiots
Well,
that do
yeah, I
that
guess
in
it
the
is
Snyder
true.
Cut.
Yeah.
Shame on you if you do that. It's so stupid.
Oh, this ought to be fun. What up, Enosh?
What's up? I'm in my car, so
Hell yeah, we got a tag team this bitch, Enosh. Can you believe how pessimistic these two are about the?
I'm not pessimistic.
There we go.
I'm not
Yeah.
pessimistic.
There we go. I moved us around, so it's 2v2. There we go.
Enosh, how much free press and all trending does Zack Snyder get on anything he touches? Anytime he goes to the internet, you cannot deny that.
everything.
Everything.
Like,
And what do entertainment companies fear? Is talent going to? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
mention the Snyder Cut. If you literally just put Snyder Cut or Snyderverse or Zack Snyder or Ray Fisher or anything in your video title, and it's been proven because all these a-holes who keep doing it and trying to use them for their own personal gain, people watch because they're interested. They want to know what's going on. The fans want this. They are literally rabid for this. Listen, anybody saying, including you, Matt, and I love you, but anybody saying, well, Warner Brothers doesn't want it. No crap. Really? Oh my gosh.
Where else is it going to go?
Wet. Batman's in Gotham. Like, oh my God, Superman flies. Oh, but only since 1940 something, because when he first came out, he sure didn't. Like, come on. Like, you're not saying anything. You're not. Listen, this pessimistic argument is just getting on my last nerve because it's not saying anything. To tell us that Warner Brothers doesn't want it is nothing new. We know Warner Brothers doesn't want it. That's not where that battle's going to be won. That's not where that battle's going to be fought even, because Hamada doesn't want it. Sarnoff doesn't want it. Emmerich doesn't want it. But you know what? That doesn't mean that the fans don't want it, first of all. And that the fans, I agree wholeheartedly, you can't go acting like an a-hole to everybody and think that you're going to get anything. But you can protest peacefully. You can make your voice heard. You can definitely hashtag. You can definitely put your voice out there. We can keep making videos about this and bringing the fandom together instead of trying to somehow like deflate everybody. Like,
well, here's why I got pessimistic.
If we had 4 years of everybody in the fandom trying to
we've had 4 years. It's been a month. Calm down, everyone. You don't know everything. You don't know everything.
Here's the thing. Over the last 4 years, it's been the fans who kept themselves together and encouraged each other. Yes, Warner Brothers deflated us. Yes, the media deflated us. Yes, everybody else deflated us and tried to tell us that it wasn't going to happen. What's different about this and what's starting to piss me off is people within the fandom are coming out going, oh, it's pointless. It's pointless. It's not going to happen. And the fans are deflating each other. Listen, if you don't think it's going to happen, fine. You don't think it's going to happen. But don't try to, like, crap on everybody else's parade. Don't try to piss on everybody else because you don't think it's going to happen. You know, like, that's fine. Let everybody else at least have their hope that, you know what, there is hope. And you know what? Stop telling me that, oh, the numbers say this and the numbers say that. Yeah, the numbers said that there wasn't a Snyder Cut either. And I just watched it. Okay? And I watched it again last night. And I had it on. And there's also a Justice's Gray version. And you know what? It's fabulous. It's fantastic. And I don't care how many people watched it, didn't watch it, still have yet to watch it, whatever. Or if the numbers aren't even true. I'm just telling you don't piss on everybody's parade. Like, seriously, just enjoy what you enjoy. And if somebody wants the Snyderverse to continue, that's fine. Tell them, hey, that's great. Good on you. And you know what? Just don't be rude about it.
No, I 100% agree about that. I mean, my only concern is the reason why I'm more pessimistic. I'm more pessimistic about it is because, like, I look at this. It's only 2.7 million sub growth in Q1, and you have these articles from CNBC saying, and the article headlines are, Zack Snyder's Justice League did not move the needle to grow HBO Max, and it's not doing as well as it should be. HBO Max is a platform and a service.
That could be a negotiation tactic,
because they're using Zack Snyder's Justice League as the blame for why
you don't know they're not negotiating with.
And even Max, let me finish real quick. Even Grace Randolph right now made a video saying that Zack Snyder's Justice League did not do as much as it could have done. That's what she said, and she's a diehard Zack Snyder supporter. So that's where I get concerned.
Okay, but I understand that concern, and like I've said before, I'm not acting like there's not issues there and not hurdles that need to be gone over. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if we start listening to articles and we start listening to YouTubers and stuff who are trying to tell us what's going on when they don't know. There's a lot of wonderful YouTubers that I love, that I stream with, but I'm sorry, they're trying to tell you they know what's going on, that they somehow have some inside track, and you got to understand, and you got to realize, and blah, 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 blah. And they're throwing a bunch of stuff at you. But the reality is all that same stuff happened for 4 years, and worse than this, because there was no well, hey, you know what, it did this much, it should have done this much. It wasn't even that. It was that it's absolutely not going to happen. It does not exist. It does not. It's not even a thing. You need to shut up, go home, put your head underneath your blanket, because it doesn't exist. It's not coming. It's not happening. He doesn't have a cut. It's just not there. And then we woke up one day, watched Man of Steel together, and then it was there.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I want to keep believing, and like I'm never gonna rain down anyone else's parade.
Yeah.
It's just after today, I'm just a little concerned. That's all.
Enosh.
Yes, sir.
You said there that whole thing about faith, right?
Yeah.
You know who else says that?
Who?
Doomcock fans, about all the rumors.
Come
right?
on.
All right, that's what they say. No, that's what they say. So it's like, that's what they say. That's what they said to me multiple times. They believe that he's correct because he tells them what they want to hear. So I'm talking about the situation from the perspective of the numbers as we see them, the silence from the company, and the fact that Zack himself has basically said that he is not going to go
Warner
forward.
Brothers take it with a grain of salt. Zack has not basically said he's not going to go forward with it. Zack literally said this weekend at Justice Con, after you hurt your back and were apparently laid up. I don't know if you saw it, but Zack freaking said, let's make this movie. How do we make a fan film? What do we have to do to make a fan film?
And that's a nice sentiment to make. That's a nice sentiment. All right. But he also said that he would never say no to a consumer. And that to me, and he said that multiple times. And that to me says that he will never say that anything is off the table, which is not, it is a hope situation. It's a hopium situation. But again, what we're talking about here is this is not Zack's IP to just willy-nilly go out and make. There are hundreds of millions of dollars that have to be allocated to the properties, right? And HBO Max is not just in the DC business. They spent $4.9 billion on content, but it goes across the spectrum. And so in order for another Justice League movie to get made, they're going to have to really bring down the budget, and they're going to have to really make a big pitch for it. But again, Netflix is giving Zack everything he wants, and they want to let him have full creative control. Why not just let him go do that? Like, and I'm being the devil's advocate here. So it's like, because the thing is people want Zack involved, but it says to me that he doesn't want to be. And that is where I'm having a bit of issue, because I feel like
his constant, when you want a better price, you constantly work and constantly network. He has to keep doing this stuff. He doesn't want to compromise his vision. You don't know if this is all part of the negotiation process. You don't know what's going on. He's not going to say anything. It's a done deal if he's trying to negotiate and his fans every day say restore the Snyderverse. He's not. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
He knew the Snyder Cut was coming since November of 2019.
And he let his fans do that every day because that helps. That helps.
He had that deal wasn't done yet in November of 2019. That was when he started getting the phone calls about it.
Exactly. He knew that it was coming back then.
He had to make his pitch. He made his pitch in February of 2020. So he just made his pitch. There was nothing set in stone until I think March.
They called him up in November of 2019, and that's when the ball started rolling on putting this together. That's when they started getting things together, telling him that they were interested in it. What could it be? What would it look like? What would it entail? What would he need? That's where the ball started rolling.
And that's what he made in regards to a pitch.
He did not come to all the fans in November of 2019 and say, hey guys, I got a call, by the way, and we're talking about doing this. So keep hope alive. He has literally just pushed the fans and egged the fans on to keep fighting for this while he was doing his thing behind the scenes.
Netflix waiting there helps him by saying, by having that there, that helps him get the possibility of
Netflix when they bought Army of the Dead from Warner Brothers, they also inquired about buying the Snyder Cut, which is another thing that was shut down by Jason Kilar himself. So Netflix wanted it because they saw that there was value in it, and Kilar wanted something for HBO Max, and that's the truth.
So Netflix helped there too.
I think if anything, I think the Netflix thing could really be a benefit because again, it's going to be that bidding war. They don't want him going over to the competition in a way. They would want him there to help HBO Max, but it depends. It depends on how big of a deal Army of the Dead's going to be.
Having a hard time with is things that you are seeing as somehow deterrents or negatives or that Zack doesn't want it. Are the things that I see that push me to, hey, these are the possibilities. This is what makes this a possibility and something that could happen. And the fact that, like you said, Netflix, like Max just said, the fact that Netflix was involved, and even you just said, the fact that Netflix helped push that needle a little bit by saying, hey, we're interested in the Snyder Cut. What do you guys think? The fact, if there's shown evidence that there is an audience for this, then the possibility of it happening goes up. It doesn't go down. If fans make their voice heard, if it's a thing enough that it's being talked about constantly, that it's constantly trending, which it is, which it's constantly in the public vernacular, which more and more people that maybe, you know what? People subscribed at weird times to HBO Max and it didn't all show up at once. But people I know who don't care about superhero movies or have been huge Marvel fans and shills are discovering the Snyder Cut every day. I have people literally calling me or messaging me or texting me every day saying, oh my God, I finally watched the Snyder Cut. I get it now. I finally get it. Friends of ours, Saggy Melons, literally watched it for the first time 2 nights ago, and she says,
that took a lot of effort. That took a lot.
But look, because she actually said, you know what? She was on just last night, and she said, I didn't understand, Enosh, what you were all fighting for, why you guys felt so strongly about this, until I just watched this, and now I'm full on all about this, saying, hey, we got to push for more of this. And that, and so the thing is that when people discover this thing, they're converted to this idea of this has to happen. This is something that we need. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, this is not the time to be like, well, the media says it can't happen. This is the time to say, let's see what can happen when people are positive and people spread the word about something that's really good. That's what I'm saying. And that's not just a pie in the sky hope for hope's sake.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, 4 years to get the actual release, 1 month is no time to give up, even if it seems like it's a far-fetched.
But the difference there is that the movie was shot.
That's different. I agree with you there, Darko. I agree. It's a whole nother animal.
Well, they
with
still
something that
spent
was
70
shot
million on stuff. They still shot
and getting new contracts and new budgets. I agree.
I agree with that too. Here's the only thing though about that. As much as I agree with that, I also say to that, one second, I'm looking for my son here.
Yeah, get your son.
Yeah, no. But say to that though is that should tell you that it's probably going to take a little longer to get things off the ground. That's not that it can't happen. It's that, yeah, that other movie was shot. It only needed the effects added and the things added to it, whatever. You're talking about something that's got to be built back up from the ground up. And they got to figure out how they're going to present. Is it going to be a movie? Is it going to be a series? Is it going to be whatever it's going to end up being? It's not just going to poof out of thin air and all of a sudden you got all the answers. It's going to take time to put together whatever it's going to be, you know?
Right.
And so, yeah, I agree with Max. We can't just be like, well, that was a month and we haven't heard everything, the full plan and details about how they're going to bring it back and the full everything. So it's not happening.
No news is sometimes good news. That's what I say. And then you don't know what's a negotiation tactic. If you followed entertainment, how often does this stuff come out, Matt, where they put stuff out there when they're trying to negotiate a price? Of course, they're going to try to talk it down. We don't need to do it. The numbers weren't that great.
Right. Well, no, my only thing is, like, I think even Sil mentioned this on one of his streams. He said AT&T is a company that looks at that is by the books and they look at numbers. The numbers are all they care about. And the numbers came out today.
And trends. We're in the age of social media.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, I'm looking at that, and they said, 2.7 million growth, this and that. Are they satisfied with the numbers or not? That's what I want to know. I still don't have a clear answer on that. So that's my only reason why I'm wondering.
That's the point. So
well, the fact that they've come out and they've talked about the numbers for almost everything else.
So my question is, if there's not a clear answer on that, why is the response? And I'm not saying, RJ, that you're doing this. I'm just saying, why is the response that the sky is falling?
You know what the biggest factor is here?
Nobody has come out and said this thing isn't happening. Like that AT&T is pissed. That everybody's pissed. That it's not true. I've actually heard from people who told me that they work for AT&T and don't believe the.
Thanks, Milan. I really appreciate that.
Okay. So I'm just telling you, that's what I've heard is people from AT&T that say, look, I work for AT&T. Don't believe that article or this article or whatever, because I know that they're happy with the numbers and happy with what's going. But until you hear that, why would we automatically go to the sky is falling? I don't understand. We've accomplished one of the biggest things in cinematic history in seeing the Snyder Cut restored. Why would we act like the sky is falling and get all depressed because we didn't get an answer within a month?
You know what the biggest factor here is, Enosh, that no one's really
came from. It's like we forget who we are and what we accomplished like that quick, that it's like it's stolen from us right away because of these a-holes who are just like, who wanted to come right out and just go off on you all and all of us as the Snyder Cut fans and try to tell us that it's not going to happen. Well, we should be used to that by now. You think that you would have thought that we would have grown a thicker skin by now to say, you know what? Say whatever you want to say. I believe in the impossible. I believe.
Right.
You know what?
Well, for me, I'm new to all this, so when I wake up in the morning, I get hit with like 10 articles on my Twitter feed saying that it didn't move the needle and it was a failure.
Here's the biggest factor.
Like,
I think that's part of negotiation.
RJ, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you're seeing and you're experiencing that, how much more do you think that I'm getting per day from just people, from a-holes who just want to try to rub it in my face?
No. I'm sure that you get bombarded with people telling you you're stupid and you're an idiot for believing all the time.
I'm still standing here.
And including in this chat.
Yeah, and I'm still here saying, you know what? If you all want to be negative,
thanks, Grandma.
I feel bad for you. Okay? I feel bad for you if you're going to allow some weirdly written article or some numbers that you don't even understand and haven't even been gone over, that you haven't even heard from the company themselves, and you're going to allow that to somehow deflate you and push you back into the back, then it shows maybe you're not as strong as you think you are, and you don't know as much as you think you know. Okay? Because I believe if you believe in a cause and you believe in something, you stand for it. And just as Zack said before the Snyder Cut came out, that even if the Snyder Cut had never been seen, if nobody even freaking saw the Snyder Cut, look what the movement accomplished. We have an awesome family of people. I told you just last night, I felt like for years I was on an island because I didn't have anybody around me, okay, as far as DC fans and people who believed in this. And then all of a sudden last year, I discovered a family. Max found me out of nowhere and brought me into this group of people that has blossomed. And now I feel encouraged. I feel empowered. And I feel like I have people.
Well, I do have something to say, but no one's considering.
That go. And you know what? If the Snyderverse never continues, if
they can't take that away from us. Yeah.
If there's never another TV series, anything, I will still boldly say I want it. It needs to happen. And I encourage you all to let people know if you want it to, because we should stick together, because we are the fans of this stuff. And don't just tuck your tail between your legs and go home. Stand for something.
Thank you, Thornton Wagger.
Yeah, thanks for the $4 super chat. Or is that a
I don't know if you could say his name. I'll say his name. Andy Sidor and his nonstop hate against Zack Snyder fans. Yeah, screw that popcorn a-hole. Anyway, I have an important factor that no one's considering. All right, go with the thing that negotiations are happening. These have to be the most brutal negotiations ever if they're talking to each other, because he will not compromise in artistic vision at all. They're going to say, okay, we'll let you do it, but with a smaller budget. You're doing this. Do you think Zack Snyder is going to move the line at all based on what they did to him before? So everyone thinks that nothing's happening. You don't know if they are talking to him. It's going to be the most aggressive negotiations ever, based on the context of what they did to him before. Yeah. So you think that you're not hearing anything because once they open that can of worms, you can never close the box that says we're going to continue. They have to get the negotiations and everything down packed first. And a smart businessman is not going to, even though I don't think I kind of disagree with Enosh at this point. I don't think he seemed overly optimistic over the weekend, but I don't think he was shutting anything down either. But if there is negotiations, it's aggressive negotiations with a lightsaber almost. And there's no compromise to
lightsaber duel in the executive offices.
No compromises to artistic vision based on, and anytime he says why would, if they come back to him like, you need to move on this. Look what you did to me before. Look what you did to me before. You took my movie. Are you kidding me? This has got to be the most
here's the thing.
There's lawyers looking at us all sides.
And Max, we may all be at different levels of like how much we believe could happen or whatever. We may all be at different levels. All I'm encouraging you people to do is we've got to stick together on this and not discourage each other from it. And yes, we should be realistic and say, you know what? This is what it is. But you know what? Let's keep fighting.
Well, Zeno, how do you know they're not talking to him? You would be an idiot to think they're not even having any conversations with him at all. Completely zero.
I think they could be talking. I do.
Yeah.
I really do.
Do you think he's going to budge on his artistic vision?
No.
They don't know.
So
people who think they know and say they know.
And what do you think they're going to do? They're going to try to go the cheapest route to get it over with if they do continue, and he's not going to want to do that. So that's why it's not just an announcement. They can't push him around anymore.
I just wanted to say real quick that I think Max Enosh might actually be convincing me a little bit. I feel like if Enosh, whenever he talks, I feel like if Enosh told me that he believes that me jumping off a cliff is the best intention for me, I might have to listen to Enosh.
Well, keep in mind, he's
that doesn't help the cult.
So, this is part of his job. So you got to keep that in the little back of your mind right there.
Part of my job.
No. Well, here's the thing.
Part of your job is talking about faith. Talk about having it, dude. You proselytize all the time. You preach.
So he believes it. And he's all the better for it. His life's better because of his faith, right? There you go.
I was just gonna say, I just want to clarify, like maybe that's it too for me. I wasn't in the trenches when people were fighting to get the thing even made, so this is all new to me. I'm new to the media tactics. Like this is like the Snyder Cut fight is like what this is for me now because I'm new to this. You know.
All right, who in the chat? Who won this battle? Team Jarbo or Team Enosh? Lounge.
Hold on. Thank you, TTC Sniping. Says the actors don't have another 4 years to film a sequel to a trilogy. If negotiations are in play, then it has to be fast tracked in order to capitalize.
Yeah, but if it is negotiations, can you imagine that the that negotiation table? Lawyers are going to be looking over it. Zack is not want to budge based on what happened to him.
Ask a question. I do, and I love TTC Sniping, but why don't they have another 4 years? Gal Gadot right now is pregnant, so she's not going to be doing anything for a year. Like they've got 4 years. These people, the people who are in these roles, they've got time.
Thanks, so my dear.
Well, who said it even needed to be 4 years? It could take 6 years if need be.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put a timetable on it because first of all, you're not talking about people who are falling apart physically. You're talking about Henry Cavill, who looks absolutely amazing, and I'm sorry, he could play Superman for years to come.
Yeah. Well, plus if it's a series and they do like the Nightmare Verse, you don't have to have all the actors. You can just have like a handful and then bring them back later. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, like the only reason I woke up today a little more pessimistic was because I saw those headlines and I watched the Grace Randolph video. I'm like, oh, this sounds bad. This sounds bad. And then I'm like, I mean, Enosh, why do you think they only got 2.7 million subs in quarter 1 though? Like, do you think there's like a reason for that or?
Well, here's the thing. So I went to the dentist yesterday, right? And I'm sitting there in the dentist chair, and they're cleaning my teeth. And the lady who cleans my teeth is a huge DC fan, and she's got Batman stuff like all over the room, right? And then we're talking about the Snyder Cut because she has HBO Max, but then I had a little thing that I had to have done. I had to have something adjusted. And so they had an opening right then. So I saw the dentist and the other like hygienist lady, whatever. So the DC lady puts me over to the other two people. And that lady is a big Marvel fan. And that other guy, like, they're like, well, we heard about the Snyder Cut, but we don't really know anything. They literally stopped working on my teeth and asked me about the Snyder Cut and HBO Max and how that works. Like, because they didn't know, is it on HBO Max? Is it like available to like rent? Like they weren't even sure. And he's like, I forgot that came out last month. And they started talking about it. We started talking about it. And I told them about HBO Max, about everything that had happened. And they looked at me. You would have thought that I'd worked for HBO Max because they're like, my dentist literally says, I'm going home tonight. I'm signing up for HBO Max because I want to see it. He says, you convinced me. I want to see the Snyder Cut. And this other girl who's a big, huge Marvel fan, she's like, well, I'm telling my boyfriend tonight that we got to get it, and we're going to have to watch it. People are not.
Someone check on Jarbo. I think the meds are kicking in.
No, Enosh is talking, and I'm on my phone, and it gets a little bit wonky.
Oh, I didn't know if you fell asleep.
No, I'm still here.
We assume that everybody knows about this stuff like we have, and they know how to access it, and they know where to find it, and they know what it's about, and they don't. And you know what, Matt, I know kind of said it tongue-in-cheek about my faith, whatever, and that's what I do. But you know what?
Well, I was just giving you a hard time, yeah.
I actually relate a lot of this, though, to do with the Snyder Cut and what has happened. Kind of similar, though, to that same approach. We have to tell other people. We have to be willing to tell other people and, like, bring it up in conversation.
It's about getting the word out, you know?
So we need to, like, bring on a missionary team and send them to, like, Marvel headquarters.
Yeah. I tell you what, man, because I do it one person at a time. And I have gotten many people to watch the Snyder Cut who normally would not have because they just didn't think they were into it, or they saw the 2017. They saw the 2017 movie.
So really, what this is that this is a case of a slow burn. It's going to take time to.
There are people who still think that this is just a director's cut of the 2017 movie. They don't understand the story behind it. That's what I'm saying. This is something that we should be passionate about. There's a reason why the end of the movie says for autumn. Yes, I will be the Snyder evangelist, but there is a reason why it says for autumn. This is a passion project that is not just a movie. It's not just a film. It's not just something like that. This is about a fan base emboldened to help a man and his family and to see a wrong righted. And that is what I think we need to be focused on is, yes, you have a moment. but that's seriously what we focus on is that we have a mission. We really do have a mission to see a wrong righted. And we didn't stop with the Snyder Cut. We kept going on and pushing it. And even though people told us it didn't exist and it wasn't going to happen, guess what? One day we woke up and it happened. And so I'm just telling you, I'm just saying you don't have to be at the same level of belief that I am that it's going to happen. All I'm saying is you know what? Don't discourage others from pushing forward. And you know what? If you really cared about the Snyder Cut, if you really were excited about this, then just do your part to help out and try to get the word out. And who knows what can happen if we remain positive and we tell as many people as possible. That's all I'm saying.
No.
You know, I get you. Hold on, this comment here. And it will happen is just through Keelar because he knows the numbers are huge, over 1 billion in sales for this film. What? Where do you get that information from? There's not over 1 billion in sales for this movie.
Well, apparently because 119 million views times $15 a ticket, maybe is what he's going at.
How many people were just running it on repeat for like the first 2 weeks? You know what I mean? Like one view doesn't equal one ticket.
Here's what I'd say: it's more important now than it even was when it came out because this is when people do lose faith, and it's possible it won't happen. But if you really, really care, it's not a time to stop. Like I've tried to cover more movie topics but I still think there's hope because my viewers getting annoyed with me too. Some in this chat.
I want there to be hope. I do want to see
but
more.
You don't know. Here's the thing: you don't know. There's no source out there that knows if there's actual negotiations, if they're talking or not.
No, there's no source that I've seen.
And if there is negotiations, what do you think they're going to be like?
It would probably be for the full creative control, which
is that going to come easy?
And then the thing is, he doesn't have the leverage like he had before.
You don't know that.
Yeah,
you don't know who else is talking to him. He could say, "I'm talking to Netflix. I'm talking to Marvel." If there's any substance of them, if Marvel actually have Feige saying that's a big deal. So, besides them wanting to work with Matt or work with Zack, the other big factor in Hollywood is who else wants you. We want to get someone who. If
they love signing down talent and locking them down,
right? So if he goes to Marvel, that's a big.
Enosh, hold on 1 second because I wanted to quickly address that. Remember, James Gunn was fired from Marvel, and then he went over to DC and then he got rehired by Marvel, and DC was still let him have full creative control, probably because his vision is more in line with what they want in regards to like making it more comical, more Marvel-y, especially because also Joss Whedon screwed the whole thing up. But so I'm not saying like he won't like jump around. Marvel isn't something that I think DC would really worry about. It's the Netflix because they are in direct competition with Disney Plus and Netflix. But I think Netflix would be a bigger threat than Disney. Also, Blue Jay here, $3 super chat. Thank you. Snyder should do more with animated movies. Yeah, I mean that would probably would be the best bet. At this point.
It probably would be easier if he did develop his own IP like Army of the Dead. But I can't let it go not seeing Darkseid again. That's my problem. Now that I saw Darkseid and he said we're going to do it the old way, even more so than the Joker and all that, I want to see that too. But not seeing Darkseid come, see what that would be like. That's what I want to see. I can't get past it.
Well, I'm curious as what leverage you think that he had before, because he literally had no leverage before. They literally let him go, and
it was well received. Now
had was a fan base that literally had to start from the very bottom, from the ground up, and say that they wanted something, but they had no leverage. They didn't even know that the thing really existed.
Well, they did have leverage.
It got better Rotten Tomatoes
they
scores
had-
than all their other recent efforts except Joker.
They had Zack's word that the thing existed when the entire rest of the world said that it didn't exist. I feel that, if anything, Zack has much more leverage now. He has much more leverage now because we've seen the Snyder Cut. We've been encouraged to know that the impossible can happen. And you know what? Now the fan base is already there. If the fan base stays together, and grows from here, because now you got people who weren't even a part of the original fan base who have come on board and said, I want to see more of this. People who see this say they want to see more of this. And so the thing is that it can only grow from
My
there.
dad being a great example.
If he's getting offers from other places, that's all negotiating clout. So I don't see where somehow had more leverage before. I would say Zack has more leverage now to be able to stand and say, because look, they came to him back in November of 2019 and they said, hey, why don't you just release like the unedited version, like with no special effects, no nothing. And he said, screw that. I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. How much more do you think he's going to stand on his principles now and say, screw that, I'm not going to be taken advantage of again? And I don't want him to be taken advantage of. I don't want him to concede stuff where like the Warner Brothers can go, well, we don't like that you're doing this right here, so screw the whole thing's off or whatever, and try to mess him over again. I want him to stand for what he wants. And I think he's empowered to do it now. And so, no, I don't think he's just going to bend over and go, yeah, okay, we'll give the studio what they want. We'll negotiate with the studio. I feel like for him, it's all or nothing at this point. And that's probably another reason why it's taking longer, is because it is going to be all or nothing. You're not going to see some half-done version of Justice League 2 and 3 done by Zack Snyder. You are not going to see a compromised version. What did he say about Army of the Dead with Netflix? He said this is not a bastardized version. He said there is no bastardized version of this movie. This is the final cut. This is everything. This is exactly what I wanted to do. I don't think that we will see Zack Snyder do another movie where he will compromise with the studio.
Right.
He has been emboldened by the fans to do what he wants. And you know what? I believe that if he goes to another studio, if he goes to Netflix, if he goes to another studio at all, they will give him the carte blanche. Warner Brothers have their heads up their butt for not doing it, because somebody will, and somebody is going to reap the benefits of Warner Brothers' folly.
And they're going to be losing out on money.
And there is the Netflix argument. If he's happier over there, just let him go over there. The Flash is already in production. That's clearly going to be part of the Hamadaverse. If it resets everything, then, which I'm not a fan of, but if that's what they're going to aim to do, that part sucks. But if we're talking about him as a creative entity and where he's the happiest, why would he ever want to go back to Warner Brothers? I mean that literally.
Universe, though. Zack doesn't want to take over the DC universe. The only thing that would keep Zack there and come back is not to take over the DC universe. So if you think that, so anybody out there who thinks that this Restore the Snyderverse thing is about getting Zack to come back and do away with everything and take over the universe, that's not the point. No, Zack would only come back to finish his vision for 2 and 3. Done. Yes, I believe he's going to move on. I believe he's pissed off at Warner Brothers and he's done with Warner Brothers. But he's passionate about this project. He's passionate about finishing this job and about done. And
hold on,
crap,
Enosh.
Matt.
Enosh. Sky the boss here with $100 super chat. Holy shit! Thank you, sir. Oh my god. He says Warner Brother DC are planning to release 4 films in theaters and 2 films on HBO Max with $75 million to $190 million budgets. Batverse, Black Adam, Flash, Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, Zatanna, GLC, Green Lantern Corps for those who don't know, Superman, Batgirl, Supergirl, Hourman, Siren, Static, Blue Beetle, WW3. What am I excited for? All things considered, this isn't a cop-out answer. I am actually excited for like everything on this list, because I do want to see what they do with it. I think probably the biggest one though would be either Shazam 2 or Aquaman 2 because I really just love those movies.
I want Black Adam the most.
I think
For
Black
me,
Adam's
for
gonna
me,
be
it's
better.
for me, it's Matt Reeves, the Batman.
Half of these movies right here aren't going to happen.
Nah, man, I don't think so. I think they're going to be committed because it's HBO Max. They want to grow HBO Max as a platform.
They announced things for years, even before the.
I know that they have that
Snyderverse.
track record, but
Yeah.
they said that they're cleaning house and they're committed to this plan.
Half of these movies are going to be in development hell for the next 2 years, and then they're going to fall off because you know what?
That's a safe prediction.
They're not going to get the response that they want. Warner Brothers acts like they're going to wake up one day and be Marvel. Well, you know what? Get the stick out of your butt and the clog out of your ear because you're not going to do that.
Well, here's the problem. Every single studio that's tried to be Marvel has failed.
You had something special, Warner Brothers, in the fact that you had something that was different. You try to chase Marvel, you are not going to catch Marvel with this list. There's a lot of great characters here, and it's unfortunate that there's a lot of great people who are probably going to be set up that they think they're going to have a job and be in a movie and then not. But you know what? That is Warner Brothers' track record, and they think that they're going to do something with something that they never commit to. They have no commitment level to anybody. And anybody who thinks they do is living in a crazy world because Warner Brothers doesn't.
But do you think Zack is good? I mean, they have no loyalty. Zack is already aware of that. So why would he come back?
Because he's passionate about this project. I just said that.
Okay, but
he would not come back. Zack ain't coming back to take over all these movies. Zack would come back to finish his project and be done. That's what he would do.
Well, here's the thing with that, though. I would say they messed with him with the Green Lantern cameo.
Here. Sky the Boss 96. I also have a YouTube channel. If you ever want to visit,
Max, stop shilling. But no, I'm serious. They messed with the Green Lantern cameo for the Snyder Cut. They completely put a cap on that because they have their own plans for the character. So I mean, even now they're still interfering with his creative vision in a way.
I don't know if you saw Fourth 1000 also.
No, I just wanted to give us all the chance to answer Sky the Boss. That's a very generous super chat. While I am on my I'm out of work. I'm out of work right now, so thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that. That does help out a lot.
You help the little Jarbo kids.
Yeah, help the little Jarbo kids. That's right. Let me see. I know Fourth says
Jarbos. We found that out last night. There's all kinds of different Jarbos in that family.
There's a Jarboverse out there. Yeah. Fourth 1000 here, $5. Thank you very much, sir. Time to read the room. It's over. Zack already righted the wrongs for Autumn. Problem is all the Snyderverse diehards will watch Hamadaverse anyway. I don't disagree with that because
I mean that's the thing. Fans say they'll boycott, but they won't.
Other stuff just because if it's bad, it's bad. Then I'll have an issue. If it's that bad, if the Flash is horrible, but I'll be honest. I'm not gonna. I've gone down that route before. It made me miserable. It made my wife miserable because we want to love movies. We want to look optimistic towards future projects. Even if it's not what I'm looking for, I am still excited to see The Flash. I'm not as excited as I would have been because I wanted to see Cyborg. I think they had great chemistry, Ezra and Ray. They were amazing together. So that I'm not as
going to win this thing by hating something. We're going to win this thing
like Rose Tico says. Yes.
What's that's the thing though. Like, how do you send a message to Warner Brothers then?
I mean, even though that was cheesy, that's a good quote.
No, I actually will admit I like that line. I get what she's trying to say there. I think that if it were me, if I was in his position, I would be looking to move on. And I think there's nothing that stifles creativity more than being forced into something. And my fear is that with the audience, they're not going to let him move on. It's always going to be DC, 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 DC all the time.
But that's not what I hear from people, because I've heard from the fandom overwhelmingly that we've all said, Zack, if you're done, if you don't have the drive to do this anymore, then we support that. We will back off. But Zack has not responded that way. Zack has not,
because Zack will not say no. Zack will not say no.
He's not just like nodding his head with the fandom. He's literally encouraging the fandom and saying, "Yeah, hey, I'll do it. I'll do it. It's up to them. It's up to you guys. Go out and watch the movie. Keep watching the movie. Keep telling other people about the movie. Don't cancel your HBO Max. Zach says that. Zach says, don't cancel your HBO Max. Keep watching the film. Keep telling people about the film. And you know what? Hey, what are the rules about making a fan film? We'll do whatever we got to do. I want to see my vision done. So that doesn't sound like a guy like, no, I don't care about it anymore. Let's
Well,
be
here's
quiet.
the
Let's
thing.
go away.
I would say if Zach came out and said that he'll do a fan film and he's seeking donations, I'll throw in some money for that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure the fandom will raise $1 million to fund that, and I'd be okay with that. I think that is probably the most likely scenario. Like, at this point, that is the most likely scenario, because I think he.
Talking. I'd love to keep talking, but I am at my destination and I have to go. But it's great.
All right, man. Yeah, are you doing a 2 cents on nonsense tonight?
We sure are.
All right.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Oh, is it the? I know which one's coming out.
Who is it? Can you give
Mind
us a sneak
Control.
preview?
Oh, it's Mr. Jeremy himself.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
because he knows it's on my channel, and then
can you have I know it's just you and Johnny Pops, but can you get a certain Eddie Diaz with a certain shirt on? I don't know. He's got a shirt the other day that triggered the hell out of me.
If anything, I should be on because you tagged me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He made a video about me last week, finally, which I thought was hilarious. And so,
I think he did. I think we need to
he
save
did it
them
on his
all.
side channel. He didn't even do it on the main channel.
Enosh,
Yeah.
you need to save them all.
Who's hiding from who? Who's hiding from who? You know, it's funny because he said that I went on RJ's channel because I didn't want him to see me talk about it. It's like, well, did Jeremy miss like the 2.5 hour video that I did last Friday about his stupid Indiana Jones take that was on my channel that was open for everybody to see, like, or all the other content, or I don't know, every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel with 2 cents on nonsense that we literally tackle this stuff.
You know what? You might not get to talk to Jeremy, but you could talk to his biggest fan, Eddie Oh My Diaz. With the shirt on. He talks just like him.
Okay.
Disgusting.
All right, guys. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
thank you guys. We'll see you
See you,
later.
Nush.
See you later, Nash. All right. I want to get to some super chats real quick here. Fourth, 1,000, another $5. Thank you, man. Here's the silver lining. Warners will borrow what worked from Zack without using Zack. That's the best you can hope for. I mean, that would be okay. If they use the characters, I'd be happy. Thornton Wagner here, $2. Thank you, man. Says more than half of those, referring to Sky's lineup there, will be canceled. I don't know about that.
I think maybe
just never move forward.
Maybe
That's
two
what
of them will
happened.
get canceled and never move forward.
But
I
a
think
lot
they're
of those
so
are
committed to
Zatanna,
HBO Max now, though.
Well, here's the thing: Zatanna and Superman, Justice, and I think, and even maybe Justice League Dark. Well, that's a TV show, but those are going to be under Bad Robot, and so we don't know what Bad Robot's doing just yet. So we have to wait.
See, Kelly's excited for Zatanna.
I know. Okay. Hold on. All right, H Bart's here, $5. Thank you very much, sir. Says, like I said, I'm fine with Snyder being done as long as Ben gets his Batman movie and Henry gets Man of Steel too. God, that would be great. I'd love for both of those, and I'd love for Deathstroke, and I would love to see, like the Injustice League, if that's what they were building up at the end of Justice League Part 2, or at the end of the Snyder Cut. You know, like what they're trying to do on that stuff. I mean, because again, no one ever talks about the continuation of that storyline. Everybody just wants the nightmare. You know, so if everyone just wants the nightmare, just give them the goddamn nightmare.
Well, no, I think the reason people say the nightmare is because it'd be cheap to film. It'd be cheaper than doing a traditional Injustice League versus Justice League
here's the
movie,
thing. You've also, but RJ, like you said, you also are kind of new to this whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. The nightmare sequence in BVS is a scene that everybody was talking about for a long time leading into the Snyder Cut's release, wondering what was going to happen with the nightmare. That is the scene that has captivated a lot of people's attention. So if Darkseid, so what they do here's what they should do for this whole thing is that they're going to do it because Zack did mention that he was testing out the volume or a volume like environment, which would make it very cheaper to film these movies. If they should do the whole thing in the volume and have it all just be nightmare.
Oh, Sky the Boss.
Damn, it's coming on.
Can someone like my channel, please?
Hold on, man. Hold on here.
Woo!
All right.
It.
Damn, dude. Thank you so much. Warner Brother DC are looking at Edgar Wright, Noah Hawley, Catherine Bigelow, Steven Spielberg, Greta Gerwig, and Karen Kusama, Christopher McQuarrie, Christopher Nolan, James Mangold, and Michelle McLaren to direct their feature films. Wait, what?
Well,
Like,
remember, Matt? Do you remember that Steven Spielberg was going to direct that DC movie, Blackwing? I think.
I reported on that back in like 2017, and I just
No
saw an
movement.
article.
No movement.
I just saw an article pop up that said he's still working on it or something, and I'm like, the dude's like 77 years old, man. Like, shit, you know. But I mean, Greta Gerwig, I haven't heard that one yet. Catherine Bigelow, I've seen that toss around. Noah Hawley, though, see, Hawley is going to be busy working on the Alien TV show for Disney Plus. So, because that's what they announced at the Investor Day. So I would say he's probably going to be busy doing that.
All these directors, though, they're great. I wouldn't mind seeing them do DC.
Karen Kusama, yeah, she's all right. Christopher McQuarrie, I mean,
well, he pitched Warner Brothers a Superman movie, and they said no. So
yeah, I know. Didn't he pitch that with Matthew Vaughn to direct it?
I believe so. Yes.
Like, because I think McQuarrie's a fantastic writer, and he's an excellent director too. Nolan, I don't think Nolan is going to come back, dude. I just don't see Nolan.
Not to DC. No.
I just can't see it. There's, I mean, like, because his Batman movie was very self-contained, and I don't know. I don't know if he would come back.
An Edgar Wright DC movie that'd be legit.
Yeah,
I don't know what character you pair him up with.
I want to see Nolan team up with Jonathan. I think when Nolan's left to his own devices without his brother to kind of wrangle in the story, you get something like Interstellar, where it's like, oh, cool, the first 2/3 are amazing. The last act is, what the fuck am I watching? You know, and then even Tenet, a lot of people said the last act of the movie is a little bit bonkers.
Oh no, it's bonkers, but I love it. It's incredible.
I haven't seen it yet. It's coming.
It's one of the best third acts to a movie I've seen in a couple of years. No
I'll watch it. I'll watch it when it comes out to HBO Max. Let's see. James Mangold is doing Indiana Jones 5, but I would love him to tackle something with this. Michelle McLaren, what did she direct?
Wasn't she the one who was going to do Wonder Woman, but they kicked her off because she wanted the talking tiger?
I have to head out because I got to play my game.
All right, man.
Oh, Max is leaving us for his PS5. Okay, we see how it is.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Sorry,
he got one
for an hour and a half almost.
It is. That's true. I was only going to be on for like 40 minutes while my meds kicked in.
So I'll see you guys.
All right, thanks for coming on. Everyone, go subscribe to Mad Max.
Movie Madness and Entertainment.
What is your channel now? It's like Movie
Madness and Entertainment.
Movie Madness and Entertainment. Okay.
Please provide the link for Sky the Boss 96. He just needs to know. I mean, it's not related to the super chats at all. It's just his comments are so great. I love your comments, Sky the Boss.
His comments are very good.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And H Barts. Hey H Barts.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
All right, thanks a lot, Max. Max is a good dude. So let's see here. All right, we got to direct feature films with the nervous. I mean, I could see it as being nervous. It makes a lot of sense why they would be nervous for practically all that stuff, because it's just going to be, it's a lot of stuff to get done. It's a lot of stuff to get going a certain way, you know, and they're going to have to bring the money for these directors. I think they'll get it eventually. I'm hoping that they do. But thank you very much for that, dude. All right. I just want to make sure that, Movie Madness Entertainment, this is him right here. Check him out. He's a good dude. Max is always around. All right. So into the Marvoverse. Shut up, H-Words.
Man. Well, that Sony deal that came out, man. That's crazy.
That's Sony doesn't want to do their own streaming service. They just want to license their content because they're
reaping the benefits. They got billions of dollars now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and especially working with Marvel, that just makes the most amount of sense. It's like Disney can make money off of bringing over the Spider-Man movies, all Spider-Man movies, to Disney Plus, which would be amazing. You know, because I think, and then they could bring over all the other stuff that they're going to be doing too.
Yeah, Venom, Morbius.
Oh yeah, I really want to see Morbius. I really want to see. All right, let's see here. AJ does say here in response to Sky's comment, yeah, I'd be nervous to direct for Warner Brothers. They're shady AF. You know, I mean, it's a business. It's a business. You know, so I think it's gonna be pretty cool to see what happens. With them as they go forward. I don't know what's going to happen with them, but I think it's eventually going to end up getting that way.
Yeah. It'll be very interesting to see how the Flash movie does, because that's what Ahmad is betting his future on. So.
Oh, definitely. Oh, I see here that I agree with Barrel Bob. Sony playing the safe game 100%. I agree. Movies. Hey, what's up, Mayor? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, I know, dude. Zeus. It's a kick-ass Zeus. Russell Crowe admitted that he's playing Zeus in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh, he did. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Let's see here. Also, Flix picks in the nitpicks. I can say that 5 times fast. It says also you have to still account for the actor salaries. Zack cannot crowdfund a sequel plus rights issues. He could crowdfund it. He could crowdfund a fan film. I don't know what I know when it comes to like Star Wars, they're very open. Like they'll provide sound effects and other graphics for fan filmmakers to do. Stephen King has a $1 licensing fee, provided that like you can't make any money off of adapting one of his stories, but he calls them dollar babies.
Mhm.
And those are actually just finally some of those shorts are going to be screened, which is going to be so cool. And then was it CBS for Star Trek has these really draconian rules. Like you can only do 2 15-minute episodes. That's it. Right? 2 of them. So you can't do a feature-length movie. You can't do whatever. It has to be 2 15-minute episodes, and you have to like buy all of their stuff and buy all of their prop. Like their uniforms have to be like, I think approved. You know, it's crazy
That's
shit.
so weird. Yeah. I will say though, maybe the actors' salaries would be cheaper if it was a streaming show instead of a movie.
So I mean, we'll have to. I don't know. I think like I get what Enosh was saying, and I wanted to give Enosh a chance to speak his piece because Enosh lets me go on his channel and speak my piece, and we're friends, and I love the guy. My fear is that like hopium and copium are just going to become too addictive, you know, and people are going to sit there and not understand that it's like that it's not as simple. And my kids are awake. It's not as simple as, geez, if you guys can hear that, I apologize. I have a 3-year-old who clearly does not like being woken up from a nap. Anyone who has a 3-year-old knows what I'm talking about. But anyway, you know, I hold on here. So I got distracted. Okay, real quick. Fourth here does say, is it strange that Ray Fisher is open to being the Flash, knowing it's Hamadaverse? I think actors want to like continue to tell stories that they help create. You know, plus actors want to act. That's the key thing people don't realize. Actors like to act. That's why they get into this game. They like to keep working. So they'll work on stuff. Like Ray is drawing a line in the sand that he hopes is easy enough to cross, right? It's an easy kind of victory. Just fucking apologize. How hard is it to just apologize? That's what he wants. And Hamada is going to be backing corporate. So Toby and Ann and Jason. And, you know, and Ray has been a thorn in their side, for better or for worse. And so that is a big issue with that. It's like you're talking about ego and pride are going to have to come out. And who likes to eat humble pie in front of a crowd of people? You know what I mean?
Especially in Hollywood.
Yeah, especially in Hollywood. So I just don't know. I think the animated route, if like going through DC animation, would probably be the best bet. However, Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, that was kind of took elements like from what Justice League 2 and 3 were going to be. You know?
Oh, kinda, but not
Kinda.
really.
I mean, it kind of did. I mean, I've heard something from like the screenwriters. The writers for that had said something along the lines that they were inspired by or whatever. So I could be misremembering that, but I've heard that it's supposed to like kind of tie in, you know, that there's plot elements. Because if you watch Apocalypse War, it does feel like you're watching Justice League 2, like at least Justice League 3, of everyone coming together to fight Darkseid after watching the Parademons literally tear everyone apart. And I think that's even on HBO Max right now. So if you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen it, go freaking watch it, because like it's I really enjoyed what they did with that, and I don't know. I mean, I'd prefer to see it live action. But again, I mean, just again,
I'd rather be an animated movie than a comic book. I'll say that.
Yeah, let's see here. Hold on. Keenan here says, because if Shazam and Birds of Prey are doing it right, then is there to look forward to? A lot of isolated films that lead to nothing. Who is excited for that? Therein lies the rub, right? There lies the problem. Who is going to be excited for movies that are all in their own pocket universes? You know, I mean, look at Star Wars and Marvel. Star Wars follows, right? It follows a timeline. It follows one timeline. It might jump around a little bit depending on what you're watching and when things take place, but it all follows a consistent timeline. Marvel follows a consistent timeline. We are people, look, time is linear, okay? And we all accept and acknowledge that time is linear. So when we're told stories that take place on a linear path are something that people can get used to. You know what I mean? Like that's how they like their stories being told. When it jumps around, that was actually, I'll put it to you like this: The Witcher season 1. One of the biggest complaints was that it kept jumping around, and you weren't too sure what timeline you were in because it never really told you. But things jumped around constantly, and that was a big complaint. So like if they don't do that, if they don't give you that information, it becomes confusing, and that is really what I'm trying to talk about here.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so Jose here says Joker was successful. Yeah, and that was a spinoff. That
Joker's the exception, not the rule.
I would, yeah, but I think given the fact that it's a billion fucking dollars, you could almost argue that it would be the rule. Like it's just that and Aquaman. Wonder Woman didn't even cross $1 billion. I don't think Wonder Woman 84 would have crossed $1 billion.
No, that second weekend drop off. If it was like a normal release, it would have been horrible.
Yeah. Let's see. Ambassadorial Wing here says, for me, I can enjoy the MCU timeline, and in the case of DC, I'll still watch the movies even if they are good, even if they don't connect. Well, here's the thing. I don't think anyone is going to not watch these movies. Like no one's going to boycott Warner Brothers, even though they probably should, right? If you are holding on to your wallet, if you want to have the best voice you can exercise in regards to protest, is always and has always been with your wallet, right? With your wallet. So that would say boycott the upcoming DC films that Zack is not a part of. Cancel HBO Max. Don't go see other Warner Brothers movies. Like that is how a boycott works. And that is what, if you truly believe in this, that is the angle you got to go down. And I said the same thing over the accountability over entertainment situation with Ray Fisher, because people are out there, beating their chest and shaking their torches and pitchforks, saying, like, I stand with Ray Fisher, but still there's no one saying I'm canceling my HBO Max because I don't want to support the company, right? It's a lot of ducking and dodging, in order to kind of weasel around.
Well, I would say too, it's because they're caught in between a rock and a hard place, because if you cancel HBO Max to support Ray, but if you cancel it, you're killing support for what could possibly be his future, as well as Cyborg.
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely a double-edged sword. But what we're talking about here is integrity, right? That's what we're talking about, is integrity. And I think, if you want my honest opinion, if Zack were to go back and have to compromise to see this thing done, or if we catch wind about that, because even the Snyder Cut itself even had some compromise, right? Even though he said no compromises, they still compromised on a couple things, because he still has to play the game. But I would say that, if he went back to Warner Brothers, I'd lose respect for him. I'd still watch the movie, but I'd lose a little bit of respect. And I say that only because it's like, they dicked him around for so long. And if he goes running back, which I don't think it would be running really, but it comes across like battered wife syndrome, where it's like, no, this next time will be different. It's not different. It's the same people. It's the same power structure that's there right now.
Oh, well, what if that's making the sacrifice though to deliver something for the fans? They can just get the story done and move on to the next part of their career though.
If he won't, well, again, it's like, how long is it going to take to get that done?
Just shoot like Lord of the Rings, man. Just spend a whole year shooting it and be done.
Yeah, and they did that twice. Fourth year is like, oh great, blank is going to say you called for a boycott again. I'm just saying, that is what I'm saying. Like I'm talking about, I'm putting, I'm being slightly hyperbolic, but I am bringing up a valid argument, and I've brought it up before, and it's caused a lot of people to kind of go, shit, because you got to think about these things. I don't know. I don't know where I stand on it personally. Now, fourth year, $5. Thank you, sir. Said that's the thing. There are no true Snyder loyalists. They will watch the new Warner Brothers movies anyways. There's no point. Just like hate watchers of films. I don't, I think there might be some that don't. I think there might be a few that you are spot on about. Like, I mean, I like watching movies, and I review movies sometimes. I got to get back into it, but I would watch those and review those because that'd be part of my job. So that's the issue. Yeah, you're right. You're right. A lot of people won't actually do it because it's not in our nature to do that. Follow through to an extent is really something that's not in our nature. Let's see here. The Flicks Picks in the Net Picks LLC says, us as Snyder Cut fans started going down the wrong road and started making it more personal. We should have celebrated and kind of shown Warner Brothers gratitude as strategy so they could never see us as toxic. Well, yeah, and I'm, what?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with that though, and I might catch some flack for this, but a lot of it does kind of boil down to the Ray Fisher situation. I think Ray Fisher's in the right to say something, and I stand with Ray Fisher 100%. But that is one of the things that really did kick off this whole division thing, right? Because you're right, Flicks Picks. You are absolutely right. You cannot. I mean, why would Warner Brothers want to continuously work with this fan base if this fan base will turn on them?
Well,
at the
look
drop
what's
of a
going
hat?
on now. I mentioned this, privately to you. There's a lot of infighting going right now. Like, there's some Snyder Cut fans that are mad at Ray Porter for not tweeting out certain things or liking certain posts, and like they're mad at like the Nerd Queens and Wonder Meg who just hosted Justice Con because they didn't like certain tweets or tweet out a hashtag at a certain time. A lot of the infighting is stupid. And it's just killing the movement in a lot of regards.
Well, the thing is, the movement was always to release the Snyder Cut. So it's like, but because there's no central leaders telling everyone to go home, the battle's been won. You have a lot of people still on the battlefield looking for the next fight.
Yeah,
You know?
but they're fighting amongst themselves though. They're
Yeah.
pointing the fingers at other people. Like that's
Yeah,
not where the fight needs to be.
Because they're not pure enough. That's what it boils down to, right? Like, I've talked to people that don't like Nerd Queens or Wonder Meg because they feel like they're gatekeepers, and because they organized Justice Con and they feel like they were kept out of it. I don't think that. I think that there is gatekeeping to an extent, but I don't think it's is as rampant as some people have argued. But there are people out there who have kind of built their entire online persona around this movement, and now that again it's over, it's like, what do you do? If the whole point was to get this movie released, it's out. It's been out for a month. We've all watched it a bunch, So, and then it's like, well, now we have this effective base of people. Well, then now what? Well, I mean, hell, keep raising money for suicide prevention. That's a worthy cause. You don't need to like tie it in to tie it in directly with everything. You can do other things with it. It's kind of like that. It's like there's other elements you guys could do that would still allow you to feel productive and use it as a force for good. But I think that a lot of people out there are also rampantly overlooking the reality of the situation, which is that tone deaf silence from the company says wonders, right? Says a lot. Things Zack has said, the whole Netflix deal, there's elements here that show us that it's moving further away from certain things, and I just think people are having trouble kind of accepting that. But real quick here, H. Bart's another $5. Thank you, sir. You think Zack would have done a good Mortal Kombat movie? Oh yeah, 100%.
I think it would have been better than the one we're about to get, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I don't know. I've heard good things about the one we're going to get.
I saw a clip that they put out today, and I don't know. It's just the way that scene was shot, but it looked very amateurish.
Was it the opening 7 minutes?
No, it's a scene where Jax is in a fight scene with someone. It just looked like it looked a little wonky.
Well,
I know it's a first time.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's a first time director, so maybe that's it too. But you really got like a master of the craft of like action choreography, like stuff like that. Probably wouldn't look as wonky as it does.
Okay, I definitely need to. I'm gonna watch it tonight. I mean, I'm in finish Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then I might just force myself to watch Mortal Kombat. It's short, I think. So
yeah, it's like an hour and 50 minutes or something.
Yeah, it won't be hard to get through. But thank you very much, H. Bart's here. But all right, here Keenan Smith says, I think most people won't boycott because Warner Brothers won't restore the Snyderverse. I think people that are in the know don't like the direction they are going with the movies in general, the MCU 2.0 basically. Well, the thing is though, if Warner's came out and they said Jim Lee is now the executive in charge of the DC films, and he's gonna act as a producer and create a through line to get to get it going, then I think people would be more happy with that. And the thing is, it's kind of like, it's like running a TV show. And that's how Marvel has treated their shows. That they've treated it like each movie is an episode of something. It might be a little bit off here or off center here, off center there, but it always ties back into the core story, moving it forward, propelling it forward. I don't know if all of these movies that they're going to make, what's going to be the core element that moves it towards something, because you can tell that that's something Warner's wants to do is by pushing it towards something, but they haven't. It's been 8 years and they've shown us nothing.
What I was thinking about, we mentioned, it was on Enosh's stream the other night. I kind of mentioned this on the comments. I was like, when Marvel Studios first got started, they made Iron Man. And the concern with Iron Man wasn't building a universe. It wasn't doing anything crazy or setting up Avengers. That was the sprinkles on top of, like, they just put that in the end saying, hey, maybe this could lead to something. The goal with Iron Man was just to make a great movie, first and foremost. Just make the best possible Iron Man movie you can make. Maybe that's what DC's thinking right now. Just make great movies and let the world building and connecting stuff come later, if at all.
Well,
maybe that's their philosophy now.
It has to start somewhere. And clearly a lot of the fan base has been like, Man of Steel was the start of that. And they want to see where it goes afterward. They want to see where it continues to go. When I'm for that, I think I want to see a decent Wonder Woman 3. That's not what Wonder Woman 84 was. I want to see, Harley Quinn come back and do better than Birds of Prey. Every time they try to deviate from kind of what Snyder has set up or been a part of, it always feels like it kind of falls flat, with the exception of Aquaman. But that was mostly because it was overseas.
Well, Aquaman still feels in line with Snyder. I don't know why people say it doesn't. To me, it still feels in line with his vision.
Oh, no, it does. It does. Shazam's even kind of running parallel to it, because there's references back to it. Wonder Woman 84 had no references to anything. And that was you could tell a move by the creative team to make it be its own thing. But actually, guys, on that note, it's already after 3. My phone is about gonna die because I didn't charge it, and so I'm gonna wrap this thing up. But it's been a very fun, very good, near 2-hour conversation. So I appreciate everyone tuning in and definitely leaving your comments and stuff. Thank you to everyone who donated super chats. My God, you guys are so generous. Thank you. Right now, it helps out immensely just because of my back. And be sure to check out Resonant Justice. Where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Resonant Justice. I'm also on YouTube. I got a YouTube channel going. And yeah, I'm always just hanging around on streams and stuff lately. So easy to find.
Awesome. I think I'll be when I get when I get better, probably next week. Once this whole, it hurts for me to sit for a long period of time standing up. So I can't do a lot of recording at my computer, but once I do, Podio Commentary will be back on. So feel free to go and give that a subscribe and check that one out. If you guys want to listen to film history stuff, I did cover Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League. So there's that. And then I'll be probably back with another stream tomorrow right around the same time. I just helps out while I'm waiting for my meds to kick in. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day. Thank you very much.